Every legend begins with a challenge. Somewhere between ambition and necessity, someone decides that ordinary is no longer enough. That moment changes everything. It transforms a simple machine into a statement. Across decades of automotive history, certain creations have rewritten what a car could be, not through excess, but through purpose. Built for speed, shaped by competition, and driven by the pursuit of perfection, these machines carry stories far greater than their horsepower numbers. Their engines were more than mechanical hearts. They were declarations of intent. From the roar of acceleration to the silence of anticipation before the start, each one captured the spirit of its time. In this story, we trace the origin of a revolution born in American garages and proven on racetracks. It was a car that fused everyday accessibility with race-level performance. A vehicle that refused to stay in its lane and instead defined an era. By the time its tires met the asphalt, nothing in the industry would ever be quite the same. Like and subscribe if you love the stories behind performance icons. And tell us in the comments which automotive legend you want to see next. The 1965 Ford Mustang GT350 was never meant to be polite. When it arrived, the American car market was already hooked on the original Mustang's mix of affordability and style. But Carroll Shelby and his team saw something deeper hidden under its sleek surface. They saw a potential race car waiting to be unleashed. Ford wanted credibility in motorsport. Shelby wanted a new canvas to prove that racing knowledge could translate into showroom success. The collaboration was risky, experimental, and timed perfectly with the public's hunger for excitement on four wheels. The result was a machine that turned the Mustang from a popular cruiser into a legitimate performance threat. The 1965 GT350 took the familiar 289 cubic inch V8 engine and tuned it for an honest 306 horsepower. It shed weight wherever possible. It replaced comfort with control. Bucket seats, no rear bench, a fiberglass hood, stiffer suspension, and a stripped-down interior told drivers this car had no interest in being gentle. It was not about luxury or long road trips. It was about speed and feedback. In an era when muscle cars were just beginning to define themselves, the GT350 blurred the line between street and track. Its purpose was singular: to dominate. Shelby American built the GT350 in a corner of Los Angeles where race mechanics worked with minimal glamour and maximum intensity. The base Mustangs arrived from Ford's San Jose assembly plant and were transformed into high-strung track machines. Each car received a hand-fitted suspension, side exit exhausts, and a rear axle designed to take the punishment of competition. It was a process rooted in precision and personality. No two cars were exactly alike. This handcrafted nature gave the GT350 a raw authenticity that mass-produced rivals could not replicate. Even the paint, Wimbledon white with Guardsman blue stripes, became an identity statement, symbolizing purity of purpose over showy excess. The look was crisp, functional, and unmistakable on a racetrack. From the start, the 1965 Ford Mustang GT350 had a mission beyond sales numbers. It existed to win the Sports Car Club of America's B-Production Championship, a feat that would lend Ford instant credibility in performance circles. Shelby understood that victories sold cars, but authenticity sealed legacies. When the GT350 hit the tracks, its balance and aggression surprised competitors. It braked later, cornered sharper, and roared out of turns with a confidence unseen in cars derived from mass-market platforms. It was not the fastest on straightaways. Instead, it triumphed through precision and durability. In the hands of skilled drivers, it became a weapon of consistency. What made the GT350's story remarkable was not just its engineering, but its timing. America in the mid-1960s was obsessed with speed. Highways stretched wider, youth culture demanded adrenaline, and television began glorifying performance machines. Ford's decision to back Shelby's program showed foresight. They understood that image and engineering were now inseparable. By letting Shelby tune their star car, they merged credibility with charisma. The GT350 became the bridge between everyday drivers and professional racers. Buyers could take delivery of a car on Friday, race it on Saturday, and drive it to work on Monday. That promise electrified enthusiasts. It felt rebellious yet attainable, elite yet American. The design choices behind the 1965 Ford Mustang GT350 spoke to Shelby's racing philosophy. He prioritized handling over brute force, communication over comfort. The car's front end carried Koni shocks, a stiffer sway bar, and quick ratio steering. The rear featured revised leaf springs and traction bars that kept power grounded even under heavy load. This focus produced a car that demanded respect but rewarded skill. Novice drivers found it rough. Experienced ones found it addictive. Unlike later muscle cars built primarily for straight-line speed, the GT350 felt alive in corners. Every vibration, every gear change, every throttle blip reminded the driver that this machine was bred from endurance racing. Despite its purpose-built design, the GT350 was still street legal. It could idle in traffic, though impatiently. It could handle a grocery run, though begrudgingly. That paradox became part of its mystique. Owning one was not just about transportation. It was a declaration of values. You wanted authenticity, not convenience. You wanted a car that didn't apologize for its intensity. That attitude resonated deeply with an emerging generation of enthusiasts who wanted to break away from the polished comfort of traditional luxury brands. They wanted noise, grit, and connection. The GT350 delivered all three in perfect measure. Within its first year, the 1965 GT350 proved its worth on the track. It dominated SCCA-B production racing, collecting wins that validated Shelby's vision. Those victories created a halo effect for Ford, boosting the entire Mustang lineup's reputation. Suddenly, owning any Mustang felt like owning a piece of racing heritage. The GT350 was the purest form of that energy, the distilled essence of competition. Yet Shelby and Ford both knew that success bred expectation. The public wanted more cars, more power, more refinement. The GT350's second act would have to balance authenticity with scalability, a challenge that tested the very collaboration that had created it. As the first production run ended, fewer than 600 units were built. That scarcity, combined with its achievements, instantly elevated the 1965 GT350 to collector status. It was a car that captured a cultural shift, the moment when American performance evolved from novelty to identity. Its blend of engineering excellence and rebellious style made it more than a vehicle. It became an artifact of ambition. The success of the GT350 marked the beginning of Ford's deeper commitment to performance divisions and motorsport partnerships. It demonstrated that competition could sell cars and shape brand identities simultaneously. The seeds of that philosophy would bear fruit in every high-performance Ford that followed. Even decades later, the 1965 Ford Mustang GT350 remains a benchmark of purity. It was the origin point for generations of GT and Shelby variants, each tracing their lineage back to that first white and blue coupe built in a modest Los Angeles workshop. The car's value today is not just measured in dollars, but in influence. It taught automakers how to turn passion into product, and it taught drivers that the line between factory and racetrack could be thrillingly thin. Its story continues to resonate because it embodies a timeless idea. When engineering meets purpose, legend follows. The 1965 Ford Mustang GT350 did more than prove a concept. It redefined what performance meant for an American car. To understand its deeper impact, we have to look inside the partnership that built it. Ford brought resources, reach, and corporate pressure. Carroll Shelby brought vision, instinct, and defiance. Their relationship was equal parts collaboration and confrontation. The GT350 was the product of that creative friction. Shelby's team at Shelby American, composed of racers and mechanics who lived for competition, treated each car as a statement of independence. They weren't building for committees or focus groups. They were building for results. Ford, on the other hand, needed reliability, repeatability, and marketing appeal. Between these two worlds, the GT350 found its soul. The tension began with the engine. Ford's 289 V8 was reliable, but Shelby's crew transformed it into something feral. They fitted a high-rise intake, a 4-barrel carburetor, and free-flowing headers, extracting every ounce of performance within factory constraints. Each engine was balanced and blueprinted by hand. The result was not just power but personality. The sound, the throttle response, the immediate surge when revs climbed, all felt alive. That was Shelby's trademark, a race car that didn't just perform, it communicated. Every component served a purpose, and every omission, a radio, insulation, or rear seat, was deliberate. It wasn't built for everyone, and that exclusivity was part of its charm. Inside Ford, some executives doubted the approach. They worried that a harsh, stripped-down Mustang might alienate mainstream buyers. But Shelby understood something that corporate logic missed. Authenticity had its own value. By refusing to soften the GT350, he gave enthusiasts something pure. The car didn't pretend to be refined. It was raw by design. And that rawness turned into credibility. When the GT350 began dominating SCCA races, even Ford skeptics had to admit that the gamble had paid off. Suddenly, the brand had something priceless: legitimacy in a space traditionally owned by European rivals. It wasn't just a muscle car. It was an American sports car that could corner and win. The GT350's success also shifted Ford's internal culture. It proved that speed could sell without compromising brand integrity. Performance wasn't just for niche buyers. It was a marketing weapon. Advertisements highlighted the car's victories, and showrooms filled with customers eager for a taste of racing prestige. But as production scaled up for later years, compromises appeared. Ford's desire for broader appeal led to the introduction of more comfortable versions, including the GT350H for rental fleets. The car became more accessible but also less extreme. For purists, the 1965 model remained the only true expression of Shelby's intent: unfiltered, focused, and uncompromising. Shelby's working relationship with Ford during the GT350's creation offers a study in controlled rebellion. He respected the brand's resources but pushed boundaries constantly. If Ford set a limit, Shelby's team looked for ways to bend it without breaking it. That spirit defined the GT350's engineering. Even the car's suspension geometry, which gave it razor-sharp handling, came from meticulous experimentation rather than corporate directive. Shelby's crew would modify, test, adjust, and test again until the setup felt right. Their process was more art than science, driven by intuition born on racetracks, not in boardrooms. It gave the GT350 a soul that spreadsheets could never predict. On the track, the 1965 Ford Mustang GT350 faced competition from lighter, more established sports cars, yet it managed to outperform them. Its success wasn't about top speed. It was about consistency under pressure. Drivers trusted it to respond predictably in every corner. The car's braking system, enhanced with Kelsey Hayes front discs, gave it remarkable stopping power for its time. Its chassis, though derived from a mass-market car, felt cohesive and taut. The result was a machine that rewarded aggression but punished carelessness. Racers quickly learned that the GT350 thrived on precision. It demanded focus, but it delivered exhilaration in return. The relationship between Shelby and Ford grew increasingly complex as the car's fame spread. Ford saw opportunity in expansion, while Shelby wanted to protect purity. Corporate interests favored volume. Racing instincts favored integrity. Both sides were right in their own way. The GT350 had proven the formula, but mass production threatened to dilute its essence. Shelby himself admitted that success could be dangerous. Too much demand could erase what made the car special. Yet even as the program evolved, the 1965 model remained the reference point. It was the perfect balance of freedom and oversight, creativity and discipline. Beyond the business dynamics, the GT350's cultural resonance deepened with each win. It wasn't just a fast car. It represented a mindset. Americans were beginning to see that performance didn't have to come from overseas. The GT350 gave drivers pride in homegrown engineering. It was patriotic without being loud about it, innovative without losing its mechanical honesty. That honesty spoke to enthusiasts across generations. Even today, restorers treat each original component as sacred. The authenticity that Shelby fought for became the car's enduring legacy. It's easy to overlook how radical the GT350 was in 1965. Before it, most performance cars from Detroit were defined by straight-line power. The GT350 changed that narrative. It showed that agility, weight balance, and feedback mattered just as much as raw speed. In many ways, it brought American engineering closer to the precision of European sports cars while keeping its character intact. It didn't copy. It reinterpreted. That confidence shaped how future cars were developed. The influence spread through Ford's engineering departments, inspiring programs that emphasize control, structure, and response over sheer displacement. The 1965 Ford Mustang GT350 also revealed how marketing could amplify authenticity. Ford promoted it not just as a car but as an experience. Buyers weren't just purchasing horsepower. They were buying entry into a culture of performance. Shelby's reputation as a racer lent credibility, while Ford's network gave the car visibility. This synergy created an identity that extended far beyond dealerships. It was a symbol of freedom, risk, and success earned through grit. That story resonated deeply with the era's optimism and energy. In a decade defined by progress, the GT350 became its automotive anthem. When we examine the GT350's influence on future generations, we see a template repeated across decades. Each high-performance Ford that followed borrowed part of its DNA. Tuning philosophy, chassis discipline, and the belief that excitement should coexist with everyday usability. It wasn't about building exotic supercars. It was about making performance attainable. That idea continues to define the brand's best offerings. The 1965 model remains the source code, the moment when ambition met execution and changed expectations forever. Looking back, the 1965 Ford Mustang GT350 stands as a symbol of creative tension turned into triumph. It showed what happens when corporate structure meets unrestrained passion. The partnership was never smooth, but its outcome shaped automotive history. By the time the 1965 Ford Mustang GT350 had cemented its reputation, it had already done something few cars ever manage. It created a new identity for an entire industry. Its existence forced competitors to rethink what performance meant and how it could be packaged. Before this car, American manufacturers treated handling as secondary. After it, balance and responsiveness became part of the vocabulary. The GT350's legacy was not limited to racetracks or showrooms. It reshaped expectations of what a street car could deliver. Drivers learned that excitement didn't have to come at the cost of reliability, and that precision could coexist with accessibility. This combination would go on to define decades of performance engineering. The cultural impact of the 1965 Ford Mustang GT350 extended far beyond its mechanical innovations. It arrived during a moment of transformation in American society, when individuality and rebellion were beginning to replace conformity. The car's stripped-down design and unfiltered power made it a perfect expression of that mindset. It symbolized a generation that valued experience over comfort and authenticity over polish. The GT350 wasn't just driven. It was lived with. Owners described it as demanding but honest, a machine that rewarded attention and punished neglect. That relationship between driver and car became part of its allure. It wasn't about ease. It was about engagement. Collectors today value the 1965 GT350 for more than its rarity. They see it as a turning point in automotive philosophy. It marked the moment when America proved it could compete with the best sports cars in the world using its own approach. Bigger displacement, straightforward mechanics, and a refusal to imitate. Shelby's method of refining a mass-produced platform into a race-capable vehicle inspired countless successors. It influenced how engineers thought about modular performance. The idea that a base car could be transformed into a competitive machine through precise tuning and structural reinforcement became an enduring strategy across the industry. On the track, the 1965 Ford Mustang GT350 established a benchmark that lingered for years. Its dominance in SCCA racing validated the balance of power, control, and endurance. Drivers found it predictable under stress, and mechanics appreciated its simplicity. Unlike exotic European cars, it was easy to maintain and quick to repair. That accessibility made it a favorite among private racers who couldn't afford specialized equipment. The car democratized competition, opening the door for a broader community of enthusiasts. In doing so, it turned motorsport from an exclusive pastime into a participatory culture. The GT350 was the car that made racing feel attainable. Its success also accelerated Ford's evolution. The company recognized that the GT350's appeal went beyond raw speed. It was about emotional connection. Future projects like the Cobra Jet and the Boss series carried the same DNA of attitude and focus. Even decades later, modern Mustangs pay homage through their chassis tuning, track variants, and design cues that echo the 1965 car's minimalism and aggression. The influence of that first collaboration between Ford and Shelby became part of the brand's permanent identity. It transformed Ford from a manufacturer into a performance brand capable of producing legends. Yet what makes the 1965 Ford Mustang GT350 timeless isn't just its success or influence, it's its purity. It represents a rare intersection of intent and execution. A moment when vision wasn't diluted by market research or regulations. Every decision, from its suspension geometry to its lack of creature comforts, reflected a singular purpose. That kind of focus is rare in any era. It's why enthusiasts still speak of the 1965 model as the definitive Shelby Mustang, the one that set the standard. Later generations became faster, more refined, and more advanced, but none captured that same raw clarity of intent. Today, when one of these cars appears at an auction or on a racetrack, it carries a sense of reverence. People pause not just for nostalgia, but for recognition of what it represents. It is the physical embodiment of an idea that changed the direction of American automotive engineering. Its sound, stance, and simplicity speak to a period when craftsmanship and courage defined progress. The GT350's influence continues to echo through design studios and engineering labs where teams still chase that same balance between performance and purity. In the broader story of American performance, the 1965 Ford Mustang GT350 stands as both origin and benchmark. It taught the industry that innovation thrives under constraint, that great ideas often emerge from imperfect partnerships, and that passion can coexist with production. Its legacy is measured not in numbers, but in the generations of cars and drivers it inspired. Every time a new performance Mustang rolls off the line, it carries a trace of that first car's DNA. That continuity is its greatest triumph. The GT350 didn't just start a revolution. It ensured that the spirit of performance would never fade. The story of the 1965 Ford Mustang GT350 is one of transformation, ambition, and legacy. It began as an experiment to combine mass production with motorsport precision, and it ended up rewriting the rules of performance. What makes this car enduringly significant is how completely it changed expectations. Before it, performance was something exotic and distant. After it, it became part of everyday aspiration. The GT350 proved that an American car could offer sophistication without losing its spirit, and that authenticity could be engineered into steel and rubber. It wasn't perfect, but its imperfections made it human. Every vibration, every imperfection in the ride, every echo of its exhaust note told a story of purpose. The 1965 Ford Mustang GT350 occupies a special place because it captured lightning in a bottle. Shelby's influence, Ford's ambition, and America's hunger for speed all converged in that single model year. It wasn't simply about numbers or trophies. It was about establishing a new kind of identity. The car's combination of lightweight design, tuned V8 power, and unfiltered handling created an experience that felt raw yet precise. In that era, nothing else felt like it. The GT350 taught engineers to think beyond horsepower, to consider feedback and connection as part of performance. Those lessons continue to shape the way cars are built today. Collectors often describe the 1965 GT350 as a car that rewards understanding. It demands patience, respect, and involvement. That's why it continues to inspire modern builders and enthusiasts. Its story is not just mechanical, it's cultural. It symbolizes a time when risk was rewarded, when creativity met courage, and when American engineering dared to think differently. Its presence in museums, racetracks, and private collections keeps that spirit alive. People who drive it today experience not just speed, but history made tangible. In the end, the 1965 Ford Mustang GT350 stands as proof that innovation is not about following trends but about redefining them. It transformed the Mustang from a stylish success into an enduring performance icon. It made racing technology desirable and accessible. It created a lineage that continues through modern performance cars bearing the same badge, each echoing the same philosophy that began in a small California workshop. More than half a century later, the GT350 still represents what happens when vision overrides convention. It is a reminder that the pursuit of performance, when guided by passion and precision, can change not just a brand, but an entire culture.